Welcome to the Friends of Dan Music Podcast. I'm Dan Miles. You've been listening to the music of Jesse Solomon. That was called Impromantic. It's from his 2008 Fire, Ready, Aim solo album. His name will be familiar to those of you who listened to my second Jennifer Batten interview back in June. She called in to talk about her self-empowerment for the Modern Musician Experience Seminar. When we spoke, the tour had not yet started, but it's now consigned to the history books, so I asked Jesse to come on to recount his experience as Jennifer's co-pilot slash co-worker slash roadie on the tour, while it was all still fresh in his mind. I mentioned in the previous interview that I would be traveling to Los Angeles specifically to catch their Canoga Park seminar, which I did, so I have now met both Jesse and Jennifer in person. Then about a week after that, I also caught a product demonstration that they did here in the Phoenix area, and I even brought my boys with me, which was quite an experience for them. So let's get Mr. Solomon on the line and get this party started. Joining me on the phone from Fort Collins, Colorado, is Jesse Solomon. Welcome.
Thanks, Dan. Good to be here.
How long have you been home now?
Well, at the end of our tour, we came home for a day, had a little soiree, and next day we headed up to Yellowstone. Took my wife with and spent a couple days up there, kind of decompressed. And Jennifer made her way back towards Oregon. We made our way back to Colorado, and it's been about a week since I've been back.
Sleeping in a nice soft bed, huh?
Yeah. It's like you get done driving 10,000 miles, and you think, well, let's drive another 9-hour day.
That's what I know. She mentioned Yellowstone. Now, you guys started in the Pacific Northwest. You went all the way to Florida, up the East Coast and back. So it's like a coast to coast to coast proposition. You mentioned 10,000 miles. Is that like? Did you check the odometer or keep specific track of it?
We really did. I did, and we did put over 10,000 miles on this trip.
And did you split the driving 50-50, or did it not quite work out like that?
No, Jennifer is really good about correspondence and getting back to people and staying in contact, and she was able to tether, her computer and do that while I drove and get some things taken care of, and utilize that time. So,
So you drove more than she did.
I did. I'm feeling it in my elbow too.
I know, man. I was joking with her. I said, I think I would have invested in a driver, but hey, she knew what she was doing.
That's it.
In terms of the long-form seminars you guys did, before you started, I asked Jennifer if she expected the program to change very much between your very first and your very last ones. I saw one of the earlier ones you did, but of course, I have nothing to compare that to. But, you were there for all of them. So from your perspective, how much did it change and evolve?
It really did. And I think, if we were allowed to, it could have evolved into a longer day-long type of a thing. If it was going to evolve, that would be the direction it would go. But what ended up having to happen was getting to your points quicker, kind of paring it down, editing basically is what it came down to.
So instead of like having to stretch the material, you had more than enough material. I did get the sense of the one I went to that she was kind of like, oh, I didn't get to everything. I'm sorry, you guys, but it was still like 3.5 hours. So
that's exactly right. And it's just some certain concepts and certain things that come up really ring a bell with somebody, and you could dig a little deeper with it, and you start to go down that road, and then you realize that we got to get into this next module. And I think really the whole concept of it in the beginning of this was, let's keep this fresh and let's 15-20 minutes on a subject and just to kind of get people more enthused and instead of overwhelmed with too much knowledge and information.
Right. It's always good to customize and tailor what you're doing to the people that are there. Like you say, if they're really into something, don't just go, well, let's just cut it off and move on. Go with it. I'm sure they appreciate it too. Was there any particular seminar out of all of them that you both felt really stood out as your best effort, or one where everything just really seemed to click?
I can't. There was moments that were like that I remember us talking specifically afterwards and just saying, that was a great group. But kind of kept happening. We kept saying that, and so each one kind of stood out in its own way.
Good. Yeah, personally, I enjoyed the casual, informal tone of it. The vibe was fun. It wasn't scholarly. Even though information was being conveyed, it wasn't like here we are in class. It was more like here we are with friends. And I like how you guys broke up, the different subjects with clips from The Simpsons and South Park. That reinforced. That was related though. It reinforced the points you were making, but in a fun and relatable way. Like, oh, I remember that South Park, and oh yeah, that does relate to what you guys are talking about. I could tell everyone there enjoyed it. I went with my friend and past guest, Robbie Rist. I also met some cool people there, who I've since become friends with. So there was an unexpected networking component to it as well, that I hadn't even considered or anticipated. Now, you guys covered obviously several regions of the country. How many of those cities had you never personally been to before?
In the Northeast, above North Carolina, Tennessee, that whole region I've never been to, and it was great to go through there, go through New Jersey. I'd been to Washington D.C. I'd played a show, played a song at the Vietnam Memorial Wall with my brother on Veterans Day one time. We just flew in, did it, and left. So I don't really count that, but it was interesting to go through there and meet all the different people and just get a different take on things, going all the way up to Connecticut, and just the different architecture as you're driving through things, and the sense of community and the culture that a lot of those places hold on to. I found that pretty fascinating.
Oh, yeah, particularly the northeast part of the country. I mean, technically it's one country, but come on, Hawaii, completely different from Alaska. The Great Lakes area, completely different from Florida. So, there's no way you could do a tour like that and not experience some new things. And as I was mentioning to Mike before we got you on the line here, when I look at your itinerary, you didn't get very many days off. And like almost every day you were driving a chunk and, setting up, doing a presentation, tearing down, driving.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's right. I think we were gone. I was gone 65 days, and we had 13 days off. And like you said, most of those days were drive days. There was a couple times where we had a relaxing, day. And really those were kind of catch-up days. Catch up with people that you need to get back to, or think about what was coming up next. It was go, go, go. And I know Jennifer and I spoke yesterday, and we were both kind of in that same mindset. It's kind of hard to come back to you're expecting to go, go, go. But,
right.
But saying, and I think we really, in being out there talking to people, was inspiring ourselves. It was as much for us as it was for everyone else. And I think the gears are turning, and we're coming back and wanting to get involved in all the things that we were thinking about the whole time. But now it's time to say, okay, I know I want to do all these things, but let's take a little bit at a time and decide what I want to do first.
Oh, it's an adjustment, man. I remember one time when I was in Sacramento, I was at my job, and I took a trip to London, and I took a trip to Italy, where I just went by myself. My dad was with Pan Am, and he was able to get, you could fly for free, but you had to fly standby kind of thing. So I would go have these adventures, and I'd see things and meet people, and I'd come back all amped, and they could tell, something was different, but they'd had the same mundane week. So,
that's right. That's right.
It took me a couple. It's kind of like when you do a gig and get home at midnight or 1 o'clock. You can't just go to bed, and you have to wind down from it and everything.
And relive it. And that's one thing that I do a lot with a lot of things is I go back through things as much as I visualize things, and I use that to help myself. I do that after the fact too. I go back through things that I did and picture them and see what I liked and what I would have wanted to do more of, and that's seemed like that's what this whole tour, no matter what we were doing, whether it was the self-empowerment seminar or the clinics or the shows, always kind of going back through that and thinking about, I can't wait to get to the next one and give some more,
That's good. It's not like either one of you got 2/3 through or 3/4 through and said, I can't do it. I got to give up. I got to quit. Because, I think I can tell people, you guys aren't in your 20s, This looked like a schedule for a 22-year-old band.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's, but we tried to keep it light, keep it cool amongst ourselves and just support each other and have fun, not get, worried about too many things, and just focus on the task at hand. And, when you do that, time just goes, and you have a purpose. And it was nice to get feedback along the way from people. And I think that was one thing that was good is, like I said, Jennifer likes to correspond with people, and I do as well. And to get immediate feedback from people and make those connections, it kind of fueled the whole thing. And like you said, the network thing, that's something we're looking into. We would really love to take a lot of the people. I think by my count, there was, between all of the things we did, there was close to 200 people that had participated in the seminar. So if we could get some sort of a users group, something like that, kind of a private group that people can share their experiences and things that they've been doing, because we've been getting feedback from people that are making new videos and doing some instructional things and just all kinds of things that already they kind of got sparked and started to do. I think it'd be great for other people to be inspired by that as well.
Yeah, it'd be great to connect all those people. Like I said, some of the people I met at Canoga Park, I became friends with. It's funny, I went with Robbie, and he knew somebody else there who he introduced me to, and she had a friend. So it was like we kind of had a little head start. We all knew each other in a way anyways, friend of a friend, And then the fact that we all had the interest to be at this particular thing, you have something in common. But what you're describing sounds good. That's probably a good takeaway from the experience for you guys, is to instead of have it be isolated, connect all these people. Because I'm sure as I looked at the you guys posted a lot of photos and some entertaining video, and as I saw, it was almost hard for me to tell from one Sam Mash to another. The groups were also similar, meaning I'm sure we would all get along, whether it was your group in Florida or your group in Texas or the ones I went to. It's like we're all like sort of the same tribe kind of thing.
It's true, and I think that's what I was trying to get across to people. Anyone that I met during anything we did, and that took the time to talk, we would. I was saying, it'd be nice for all of us to really, take this time that you took the time to come out to this and look at all the other people that are here. Let's connect and let's have a resurgence of sorts, and kind of keep some grassroots things involved in future projects that people are doing, because everything seems like people are trying to do everything online, and they're kind of being lone rangers and trying to follow a formula. And I think if we kind of get behind each other and utilize each other's resources, there's a lot that we could do together.
Definitely. That's sort of the direction things are going, both directions. Things that you do of interest to the attendees, things they do of interest to you. And this was an experimental thing for both of you, and particularly Jennifer, to sort of expand beyond just guitar lessons and just really, be a broader topic. Now, you guys put out, to my count, 3 little video logs, and I guess there's more coming. I watched them. I want to touch on a few of the things that were in them. Gosh, I mentioned to Jennifer during the interview, I didn't want to jinx her or anything, but I said, I hope she didn't have any car trouble. And she goes, yeah, well, I'm having it serviced right now. But you guys had car trouble like almost right out of the gate. What happened?
We did. That was, we'd been going over the mountains, coming from Oregon to Northern California, and we were actually on our way to visit the guy who was the bee curator. When Jennifer did her Flight of the Bumblebee video, and we were about 10 minutes away from his house. We'd gone all the way through the mountains, and all of a sudden a spark plug blew out of its housing, and so it looked kind of dire, but we got it to a shop. They were able to work on it, and we were able to move on from there. So it was we were really counting our blessings, that we were so close to somebody, because we could have been up in the middle of those mountains, and it could have been a whole different story. So we ended up not missing any of the dates. You
guys were staying at KOA's Campgrounds of America, but apparently one night, you ended up staying in a parking lot by a Denny's.
That's right. It was a Motel 6 and a Denny's right there in that parking lot, and one of the ladies that worked at Denny's was nice enough to let us stay there a little while longer in the morning before she came and knocked on the door and said, you got to go. But yeah, that was, it was some of the things. It was just logistics. It was a matter of, the time we had to get from one point to another, and so a lot of these campgrounds, we did some KOAs. Some KOAs are off the beaten path, so we tried different campgrounds. But what you would do is you'd call them, and a lot of them don't have scheduling online things, or so they're not up to speed with today's technology. And so you call and you leave a message, and maybe someone will get back to you and let you know that they have some availability. So that was one of those nights where we just could not secure a spot anywhere, and so we just did what we had to do.
And that's part one of the story, and part two of the story involves some car alarms.
Well, yeah, that's what. Yeah, we woke up to the car alarm right next to us, which that was just par for the course. You knew that was going to happen. Just where we were, right there in a Motel 6.
Yeah,
Jenny's parking lot.
That'll jerk you awake for sure. One of those.
Oh yeah, right outside the window there. But that was the thing too. We just never wanted to be too far away from the equipment.
Yeah.
And, so we were willing to just do that.
Now, I was mentioning earlier how durable and tough you guys were, but it looks like you both sustained some injuries. Like what happened to your eye?
Yeah, that was I think that was just getting something in my eye, and it's just one of those where you're irritated and you're thinking, that'll go away, but it ended up hanging out for a little while. So I ended up going in and getting it taken care of, getting some drops for it. It was a scratch, cornea abrasion. So.
And Jennifer's knee.
That was crazy because we were having a good time playing. It was in Glendale, Arizona, and we were doing the little horn medley, with the Fishman triple play, and that was when she twisted her knee, up jumping on that drum riser, and then it took quite a while to get that taken care of.
Yeah, and you don't really want to be driving and trusting your foot on the brake or the gas if you got a jacked up knee.
That's right. She just literally could not move that knee, couldn't bend that knee, and so it took a lot of doing there, but she powered through it.
Well, I was there and I saw her jump up, and I don't recall her, limping off, so she hit it well. There was a guy in Louisiana who was explaining how to get alligators out of your yard.
Yeah.
He was very specific and detailed about that process. You could tell he'd done it many times.
Yes, it's true. Matt Touchard, that was my first time meeting him, and they were gracious enough to let us crash at their house, and it was a really nice house him and his wife have, and he's a fantastic graphic artist, and very very well known in a lot of circles, and worked with a lot of musicians. He's a musician himself, and he's got a great book that's going to be coming out, kind of a coffee table book, and with some prominent people and some unknowns in it. But and also there's a little blip in there on the video where it shows a raccoon, a picture of a raccoon, and that is actually a picture of a raccoon on his back patio that he took. He has raccoons that come in every evening and hang out on his patio right there. And, they'll throw him some food. There's kind of their angry pet raccoons.
But he wasn't, he didn't have the Cajun accent. He sounded more like he was Australian or something.
Well, he's got that kind of French, the French Creole thing.
Okay, because he sounded more like New Zealand or Australia, but it is the Creole, huh?
Yeah, Yep. He's got that whole thing.
Yeah, well, on the topic of networking, that's probably not a bad idea when you do your planning, is to plan ahead and see how many people, I'm sure you guys probably did, how many people you can park in their, RV parking lot and maybe get a bed and a shower and,
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's great how many people, do offer that up to you and how nice it is to have that when you get that opportunity. And and the other funny thing too is that when, speaking of Jennifer's knee, it's amazing how many people will offer up pain relievers. Everyone has them. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
You know, you need something for that. You need something for that.
You have various strengths, I should imagine. It's like,
Right.
you need something a little stronger than over the counter.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
I also like the weather report you guys did at the TV station. Very professional.
That was great. That was Eric Dahl. He's really into doing that stuff, and I actually was there. Jennifer had gone there to do that, and I met up with her later. A friend of mine, Chris Van Tassel, who's with Rocket Pedals. They're great, boutique pedals that they've got going on. They're out of Nashville. He's there, and he's took me around, and he knows Eric, and so we went in and hung out, and like Jennifer said in that video, so many opportunities to interrupt it and kind of make faces at her and things, but we kept it cool. And then they were cool to let us mess with the green screen and do that. And that was a good time.
It's fun to tease about the heckling, but if she's doing a TV spot that's really people are really going to see,
that's right.
Yeah, all these things we're talking about, plus a whole lot more, are included in these little video logs you guys put together. They're on Facebook, but they're also on YouTube, and they're easy to find. And they're just like, there's about 15 minutes each, 12 minutes, 16 minutes. They're funny.
It kind of depends.
Yeah.
That was Michael Melenda, from Guitar Player Magazine.
Yeah.
He was the one that wanted to do some of these vlogs and put them up on their site. And so that was kind of what sparked that. Mm-hmm. And so he's put the two of them now. I guess the third one's going up there. And I'm sure what he had in mind was maybe just some little behind the scene, little 2-minute, here I'm setting up my guitar, or got this or that. But with somebody like Jennifer who loves to get into video editing and things like that, it was bound to take on a little more.
Sure, that's what's so cool about it. Just like the seminar moves at a quick pace, these videos move from place to place. She's got graphics in there and little. They're cool. They're not tedious. They're like there's a good pace to them. They're funny, and also for someone like me who met you guys and saw some of your stuff, it shows me what happened further down the road. And for people who didn't go at all, it gives them a sense of it. Now, your tour was connected with Sam Ash store locations. Both times I saw you in California and Arizona were at Sam Ash stores. When I saw you in Glendale, Arizona, my boys were with me, and they'd never been inside a large music store before, so they were pretty blown away just by the sight of hundreds of guitars on the wall. And my older son Zachary figured we must be there to buy something, so he started telling me all the things he wanted. This keyboard, that drum set, this guitar. No concept of price or anything.
They were, and your boys were great. They were so cute and so well mannered, and it was a pleasure to meet them there too.
Yeah, and my younger son Jackson, he enjoyed meeting you and talking to you, but I don't think he understood that you were going to be part of the show. I mean, you didn't have two-tone spiky hair like Jennifer. You weren't walking around wearing your guitar like she was, shaking hands.
He was surprised when I got up there and did my part. I saw it when I came down from the stage, and I could see in his eyes, he's like, "Oh, you were just up there."
Yeah, I told him to go over and give you a high five, and I think, like you said, he was a little bit deer in the headlights, so I think he forgot that part, so he was just kind of standing there in front of you. I think he offered him a fist bump or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because he felt like he knew you at that point. It'd been like if I walked up there and started jamming, he'd been, he knew Jennifer was the star, and then about halfway through, she calls you up, you pick it up, jam like a pro, sit down, he was kind of like, whoa.
There it is. That's right. Yeah, it was, all of the Sam Ash stores, that was, really, that's the first time I've been in a Sam Ash. Well, I take that back. Last year I was in the one in Hollywood. That was the first time. But, so to see all of these stores and see how they have it together and, the networking that they have, and the feeling of community that they have, being a family-owned store. It's a chain, but all of the managers know of other managers and the employees feel like they're a part of something. You don't get that kind of tired feeling when you go in there. People are happy to be there, and that was nice to be in that many stores and have that feeling every time. And there was some managers. I think when we were in Clearwater, there was a guy that he really stood out. There was some really good guys, but he stood out to me because he was the only one that gave me a formal introduction, before the thing, and I thought that was really, really cool of him to do that.
Yeah, it was. And at every one of these demo events, clinics, you guys passed out free raffle tickets to all the attendees and then gave out a wide range of prizes at the end. Both of my boys actually won something, beat the odds.
Yes, they did. They scored.
Yeah, Zachary got some, True Fire online guitar lessons. He didn't really understand what it was, but he was so real happy to have it because he won something. And then Jackson won a T-shirt that probably won't fit him for like the next 10 years at least. I mean,
That's all right.
He was 4 years old at the time.
Right.
You can see a picture of them. She was taking pictures of all the winners at all the stops, and then in one of your video logs, you can see both the boys, and Jackson's holding it's like the ghost costume from Charlie Brown, and he holds it up, and you can't see him. You just see white shirt.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Maybe his left elbow or something. And
it was funny because the giveaway. I mean, so I knew, a lot of people that I knew actually won things.
Yeah.
I don't know, and a lot of times I was the one drawing the names or the numbers or whatever, and I'm thinking, honestly, I'm not doing any of this. This has just turned out this way.
Of course, but I think I would estimate at Glendale there's I don't know 30 people there that had raffle tickets, and there was maybe 10 prizes or something, but for both of them,
good chance, to win something.
Yeah, the top prize was a Fishman triple play MIDI controller, which is pretty generous considering they run about $400, and you gave one away every time. Well, I'm sure they provided them. You didn't buy them yourself, but still, it's a nice grand prize. Now, this is a device that you attach to your guitar, and then does it wirelessly communicate with a sound library on your computer? Is that how it works?
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yep, you have a wireless, USB dongle that you put in your computer, and it just accesses it that way.
Yeah, because I spoke with Jennifer at length about the gig she did with Jeff Beck, where he goes, all right, I have a drummer, I have a bass player, I'm going to play guitar. Jennifer, you do everything else. You're the keyboard player, you're the second guitar player. And in those days, the MIDI triggering was just so complicated and everything. So I guess that this really simplifies it.
It's just way simpler, and it was nice to be able to introduce that to people. And really, the Fishman people were amazing. The reps that came out and were at some of the stores we were at, and some of the other people that we met, up in Connecticut, a couple of the main guys came out and taught the clinic, and we got to eat lunch with them and talk with them, and they really believe in it. And what I liked about their concept was they didn't care how many people we got in front of. They just wanted to make sure that there were people physically seeing somebody do something right there, as opposed to just trying to do everything, videos or things like that. They believe in that whole, human experience, and they really, like you said, they're willing to give one away at each stop. So that's how much they believe in their product.
Yeah, and she's an inspired choice for two reasons, because she understands the before and after. She knew what it was like having to and also she's an amazing player. Speaking of which, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play the audio from a video that you did with Jennifer, where you guys are trading off solos. You might think as you listen to this that you're hearing keyboards and horns and harmonicas, but it's all being done with guitars. So I want to mention to all the bands out there who can't find a decent keyboard player that you might want to consider having one of your guitar players look into this technology. And if you're a guitar player and you want to expand your sonic vocabulary or just make yourself more marketable, put some more weapons in your toolbox, so to speak, you should really check this out. It's actually pretty amazing. So here are my past guests, Jennifer Batten, along with my present guest, Jesse Solomon, giving their Fishman triple play systems a nice workout. Let's check this out.